Hi there. Today I want to talk a little bit about the Warriors by Sol Yurick, both the book and the film. So the book originally came out in the '60s. On here it says it's West Side Story Time, but no one's singing "I Feel Pretty." So he wanted to point out the real viciousness of street gangs. So in a lot of those times in the '60s, lots of street gangs they fought in large numbers. They brawled on the street. They used knives, sharp implements, all kinds of things like that. They didn't use guns so much like they do nowadays, and there wasn't so much for drug trade. It was more a case of it was establishing areas, turf, holding an area, and for reputation. So in the book, originally written in the '60s, and the film came out in the '70s, there's quite big differences between the book and the film. In the book, there's a gang leader called Ishmael, and he's trying to bring all the gangs together. He says, we outnumber the cops 10-1. We can run the city. So all the different gangs, they're all going over there to meet up with him, and when they're there, they all agree with him. In the film, they all agree with him. He's basically saying, "Look, we can take the city." And then a leader of a gang called the Rogues in the film, he basically shoots Sirius in the eye, and he blames the gang called the Warriors for doing this. So now the Warriors have got to get home through this hostile turf, while the other gangs are looking for them. In the book, pretty much the same in that regard. Ishmael, in the film, is called Sirius or Cyrus. Ishmael in the book, he again brings all the gangs together. They go there, but they all start fighting. Somebody's waving away flies. Some guy next to him thinks he's trying to start with him, so he starts to bop with him. They use lots of gang jargon in the book. You want to bop with me, all this kind of stuff. So they start fighting. People start breaking chains out. Couple of presents they brought along, which are guns. They're ripping all them open. They've got zip guns, literally it's just a piece of wood with a bullet on it, basically, that they'd fire with a pin. So all these bullets are going off haywire, and Ishmael takes a bullet in the eye, and they think he's dead. So the truce is off. So in the book, the truce is off. So now the Warriors, I think they're called the Dominators in the book. So they are called the Dominators in the book. So they've got to get home now. They've now got to get home, without being caught by these other gangs and battered. So it's a bit like Lord of the Flies. Like, what would happen if society was run by children? This is like a gang run by children, and how they all kind of, front up to each other, all this bluster, tough talking. Whereas inside, they're quite scared. There's a bit where they run away from the gangs. They make it to a graveyard, and the one guy is just falling asleep. He's tired. So all the others are like, look at that guy. He's just he can fall asleep anywhere. So the others hearing this, well, that's a sign of being cool, not being scared. So they're all like, yeah, well, I'm not scared of a graveyard. I'm not scared of ghosts and things like this. And there's another bit where, on the way to the truce, they've got this one guy. I think his name is Bimbo in the book. He sounds like Ajax in the film. He's always fronting with people. So they're setting off fireworks, and when the fireworks go up in the air, the gang members are walking to the rendezvous point. But he won't be rushed. He's like trying to flex on the other gang members, and so it's got to be like his ego's got to be satiated before he'll like, okay, yeah, I'm just messing with you kind of thing, and you'll carry on walking on. And it's the same where they're at a train station, and they're all like, talking about who's the best with a girl. So they're like, well, there's no girl around, so how can they prove it? So the one of them has this idea that whoever can pee the furthest, a lot of them haven't been with a girl by this point, so whoever can pee the furthest, they're the better lover. So there's things like that, but they are a vicious street gang. I mean, there is a rape in the book that happens not long after that scene, I think. So in the film, the guy Swan, he meets that girl, Angela, I think her name is, and she kind of becomes his girl. Whereas in the book, they kind of hook up with some girl for a short time. She's with the gang, and they end up basically kind of gang raping her and dumping her and running off after they've killed an old man. So there's quite differences there. The characters' names are different. The character who closest resembles Rembrandt in the film, the one who has the spray can, in the book, he's very he lacks confidence. He's very scared. He's very frightened. He knows it's a good thing to be in a gang because he's got security. He's got a half brother called Alonzo. His name's Hinton, and he's the gang artist. So there's a bit where he kind of gets really scared. He's fed up with them. They've abandoned him. So he basically tags the wall and he says, "Down to the Dominators." Then he feels bad about what he's done. But anyway, both Ismael, or Cyrus in the film, and Hinton, Rembrandt, they both turn up in another book, which I had no idea about. So there's this book called The Bag by Sol Yurick. Now, Sol Yurick's books seem to have almost no reviews online. There's very little about any of his other works, which is a shame. This one's very well written, I think, but it's nothing like The Warriors. It's got the kind of the urban sprawl and things like this, and the desperation people are living in the 60s, 70s. And it's written well, but it's just not a greatly engaging story. In this one, Hinton basically, I think he's at like a halfway house from what I remember. It's been a while since I read it. And he's working on his art skills. He's now working with clay. He's got a girlfriend. He's doing painting. And then as for Ishmael, well, after he took a bullet in the eye, people thought, well, he's not such a hot shot after all. Also, he's old now. He's about 30, so nobody really takes him that serious anymore. The gang members, they see him as an old man. So anyway, he's working as, I think he's a janitor, and he's trying to start a revolution. He's still got ideas for world domination. He's trying to get all these people, down and outs, the outcasts of society, the down and outs, the ones that are junkies and so on. So he's trying to get them organised. So I'd love to hear if anybody else has read this book, and particularly if you've read Richard A. as well, and what you think of that book as well, because I've got that one to read yet. So have you read the book, The Bag by Sol Yurick? What did you think of it, and what do you think of his original novel, The Warriors? I'd love to hear from you. Take care. Bye-bye.